Welcome to Motorcycle Hang Time with Chris Klotz, attorney at Stevenson Klotz Injury Lawyers. We invite you to hang with us as we talk about the local motorcycle scene, safety issues, and motorcycle law. And now, here's your fellow motorcycle rider and enthusiast and host.
Hey, everybody, this is Chris Klotz with the Stevenson Klotz Injury Firm, and we are here on Motorcycle Hang Time. We have a fantastic show today, and we have a really, really amazing, one of the hardest working and most dedicated women or men that I know of in town or really anywhere. We have Martha Harris with us today. Hello, Martha.
Hello, Chris. How are you?
Man, I'm doing great. I'm so excited to have you today. You're one of my favorite people.
Well, thank you. I appreciate that.
And so we're going to talk about some cool motorcycle stuff today. And one of the main things that I really love about doing this podcast is finding out everybody's motorcycle story, because everybody's got a different motorcycle story. And just listening to the different ways that people got into riding, and then what actually, riding means to everybody, because it really means a different thing to everybody. It's very personal.
Absolutely.
And so what was your first bike you ever got on?
A Yamaha 650, and I was way too short for it.
Yeah. I think the first time I ever rode on a motorcycle, I actually rode on the back with somebody else. I don't even remember who or when it was. Did you get on and you were driving yourself?
No, I started out riding first off with my first husband, and I rode with him. And right. I told him, I said, this ain't working for me. I got to be in control. I want my own. So I went and bought a motorcycle without his knowing it, and then bought it sight unseen and got out there and wasn't able to pick it up, hold it up or anything, because I had to stand on one foot or the other in order to, when I stopped. So he took me home and we had lessons, and it was a tough one with him because he was a tough instructor. Yeah,
I bet. And so I'm curious, what was the way that you bought this bike sight unseen? Did you find it like in a classified ad or?
I did. I found it it wasn't the Thrifty Nickel, but something similar to that over in Biloxi, Mississippi when we lived over there. And so I told the man, I said, I want it. I just want it. So I went by his work and I paid him. And then I went over there and I said, oh no, I can't reach the ground on this.
Now, had you ever even driven a motorcycle before?
Only a mini bike as a small child. And I say small child, 10 or 12 years old, when I run it in the side of a barn. And and everybody says, well, don't worry about her. She won't be riding motorcycles in her lifetime.
Oh, man. Classic. Well, how old were you when you finally got your first bike?
20.
Okay. And so it was a Yamaha 650. Did you do any modifications on it? Did you mod the seat or anything so it was a little bit lower? Did you have to trade it out?
Oh, no. He made me learn how to ride on it and said, you will be the one at the intersection, stopped at the traffic light, standing on one foot, holding your bike up until it's time to go.
You got to have a little bit of a skill set to do the 1 foot balance.
Well, if you want to ride by yourself, you got to do it. And I wanted to ride by myself, so.
I'm trying to recall that bike. That's about a medium heavy bike, right? It's not super light and it's not like super, super heavy either.
It's not super heavy, but for me, it was a struggle getting it up, being so short, because you basically had to push it up and kind of jump up on the seat and to go. And it was interesting. It was interesting.
That is awesome. So how long did you ride that bad boy?
Until a lady pulled out in front of me and caused me to lay it down, and I found out I was pregnant that afternoon at the hospital, and that's when he put a stop to riding that motorcycle. He says, you're done riding for a while.
So you took a break. Now, did you ride with your husband? Y'all would obviously ride together, I guess. He had his own bike?
We did. He had the bike that's in my store now, which is a 81 Sturgis. And we rode back and forth from Biloxi over to Pensacola because his parents lived here. So we rode back and forth all the time. For that, I only rode mine around town. I didn't take it all the way over here. He wasn't going to let that happen. But, yeah, we rode quite a bit.
That's really
I enjoyed
cool.
that, but I still like to ride my own,
Right. So when you transitioned off the 650, what did you go to?
I took a break on riding for a while. Kids do kind of make that happen to you. And whenever I took that break, I went to a Harley Dyna,
Right.
and I rode that for several years. Then when I turned 50, I had asked because my first husband had passed away in 96, and I had remarried, I had asked my second husband if I could have a Heritage Softail for my 50th birthday. Well, he said, no, you spent all your money in the shop, you can't have one. So it was a couple of years later, he had passed away, so I bought the Voyager 1700, which I bought it sight unseen, and had to do the same thing when I got it that I did with the Yamaha, 1 foot in it until I got it back. And by then I was smart enough to know that go ahead and get it lowered and all that other stuff.
Right.
But I just recently sold my Voyager, and now I have the bike that I wanted when I was 50. I just bought a Heritage Softail last week.
Oh, right on.
So I'm excited.
Very cool.
And my buddy Mike's getting it all serviced and everything ready for me to take off.
Sweet. Is it a stock, or has it been modded at all, or?
No, it's pretty much stock, because I'm not into all that, because I don't ride as much as I would like to. But I definitely took the soft bags off, and he's putting hard bags on for me. But other than that, it's a 103, and Lord knows that's too much power for me.
Yep. Yeah, that's plenty.
I'm not that person that goes out there 900 miles an hour. So
I know you're not out there doing wheelies.
No, I couldn't pull that bike if I wanted to.
Oh my goodness.
No. I leave that to you.
Nope, that's not for me either.
Not me. I try to practice what I preach, and that's safety.
Yeah. I mean, I'm not judging. I mean, I know people do that, and, they're actually, in a controlled environment. It can be artistic in a way. I know that you've seen some of the videos on, YouTube or whatever, where people are actually almost really like dancing on their bike.
Absolutely.
Where they're like on the back wheel, and it's very artistic, and they're in a controlled environment. And so, I mean, there's some people who have a real skill set for that, but I am not one of those. And
me neither.
And again, no judgment for what anybody, decides to do that's safe for people around them. I'm just at a point in my life where I want to maximize my chances of not getting hurt.
It comes with age. We, for some reason, we grow up and learn that the things that we did as children was kind of stupid.
I can remember. So, I mean, I've told this many times on this show. My mom and dad were not at all in favor of motorcycle riding, but I loved bikes. I mean, my bike was my life when I was a kid. And I can remember that, like you see some people standing on their motorcycle seat with their feet on the handlebars, like riding. That was me in my neighborhood on my bicycle. And so I would like surf on my bike going down a hill and doing all that kind of crazy stuff. And so if I had probably been a younger person and had access to a motorcycle, I probably would have been probably more reckless than I probably should have been. So that may have been a good thing that I was a little bit older when I started riding my own self. And so
I understand. My mother is not a fan of her kids riding, but out of 6 of her children, I'm the only one that rides. Now, my sister does ride with her husband occasionally, but yeah, my mother wasn't a fan of it either. And I told her, I said, Mother, all you need to know is number one, I pray every time I get on the bike that Lord puts his arms around me. But if something happens, please know I died doing something I enjoyed.
Yeah. So let's talk about that. I mean, everybody that I know that rides bikes has a really strong feeling about it personally. And I'm curious, what draws you to riding? What is it about the riding? Is it the physicality of the bike? Is it the camaraderie with the people? How do you feel when you're riding versus how do you feel when you're in your truck? What are those like for you?
People that don't ride really don't understand, but to me personally, just being out there and being able to have the wind in my face, and it's like it blows the attitude off of you, so to speak, rejuvenates me. gets me excited about the things that I'm doing. And I have a lot of time to think when I'm on my bike. Of course, most people know that whenever I'm on mine, a lot of times I'm going South Florida or something for a meeting or whatever. So I have nothing but time to think about things, and I don't have a radio on my bike, and I know a lot of people love to listen to their music. I love to listen to the rumble of the road and just ride and think and clear my mind. It's very calming for me.
Yeah. Yeah. It's the same for me. And I have, this is something that I've only come to realize about myself in my older years. And I don't think I've ever told this to anybody before, but I have a little bit of ADD going on. And I have realized for me, long road rides are probably more difficult for me. I do better on shorter rides because if I get sitting somewhere and I have too long to just set up, my mind will get distracted and I won't be paying attention like I need to. And it's something that I've learned about myself. But when I ride around town or on shorter rides, I mean, I don't do like the South Florida trips or anything like you do. And I'm not set up for a long haul anyway on my bike, but I found that for me, it requires a great deal and it's a welcome, intense focus for me. I really intensely focus on everything that's going around me. Try to always have situational awareness. And for me, that clears all the other crap that I've got going on in my head out.
Absolutely.
It crowds out. Having to really focus intensely like that crowds out all the other background garbage that's going on in my head. So I've had people tell me that, they like to go play slot machines and they'll just sit there at the slot machine and just do that for hours. And, that's not my thing, but I asked them why. And they said, because it clears my head out because I'm not really focusing on anything else. And for me, riding really it's very intensely focused for me in a welcome way. And it really helps me crowd out all the other background noise going on. But it's for me, I say this all the time, it feels like flying. It's like about the closest you can get on wheels to flying.
Yeah, I can see that. Absolutely. Yeah. I mean, people that don't ever experience it really are missing out because it's just a sense of freedom. It really is. Yep. I have people come in here all the time in the store that will tell me that they can't get their wife on it, and their wife will come in and, I'll have conversation with them. I'll say, look, just go one time. If you don't like it, it's okay. But I'm telling you right now, you got a 95% chance of being hooked on it. And it's amazing the number of people that actually come back and say, I'm glad I come in and talked to you about it, and you encouraged me to go because now I got to get ready. I'm ready to ride. And a few of them had went from the back seat to riding their own. So I get it. Yeah.
Yeah. And so if I can ask you this question, and I want to talk about kind of the motorcycle community in general in a second, but as a woman rider, you would agree with me maybe that most riders are men. Have you seen as a woman rider, and having your own, path where you've been, riding for a good while? I mean, have you seen anything that as a woman kind of has gotten your attention as a rider in the motorcycling community?
Well, I can tell you that back when I first started riding, you just didn't see women out on their own. Okay. I mean, they were very few and far between. And as time has gone on, the women riders are just exploding in numbers. We have so many female riders now that are out there, and they're being more accepted, I feel, in the riding community with the different groups that we have riding in this area and throughout the nation because, I travel a lot, and if I travel, I always try to go on my motorcycle, and it's crazy the number of women that you actually see now, but it's a crazy good. There's a lot of them that are out there, and they're being more accepted, and they're loving it.
Yeah, I mean it's gone from being a primarily male dominated recreational sport to being much more inclusive, I think, and that's always a good thing to have more diversity in groups like that. So it's kind of cool.
Absolutely.
There are almost 9 million motorcycles registered in the United States, and there are almost 5,000 motorcycle fatalities a year. That's almost 14 a day. Motorists don't do a good job looking out for motorcycles, and neither do insurance companies. Hi, I'm Chris Klotz, and as a writer and an attorney, I know that insurance companies treat motorcycle cases differently. If you've been injured in a motorcycle accident, bring your case to me to review. Let me take my writing experience and my knowledge of how to deal with insurance companies to get you the compensation that you deserve. The call and the advice during the call are free. Stevenson Klotz Injury Lawyers, bring it. You are one of the people in our community that is probably as plugged in as just about anybody that I know. You are such a leader in the motorcycle community, and you do so much good for the motorcycle community. I just want to, for some of our listeners out here, a lot of our listeners are riders. Some of our listeners are, maybe not riders, or people maybe who are thinking about getting into biking. What do you have what comments, just broad strokes, would you make about the motorcycling community out there nowadays?
I have been around it for a long time, and I have seen it change so much. But what I think the message I want people to understand is that just because we ride doesn't mean we're bad people. There is a lot of riders in the community that do a lot. If you look at the numbers for funds that are raised for different charities and stuff, it's crazy. The numbers are off the chain. I belong to the American Legion, and if you look at the numbers that the American Legion riders put up as far as fundraising, the numbers are just astronomical, through the roof, that this community gives. Let somebody get hurt, somebody's going to step up and they're going to do a benefit for them. You don't have to ask twice. All you got to do is just ask if somebody needed help. If they truly need help, people will reach out and do it. And, we're a bunch of good people, men, women. We're all, we're just out here to help the different people in the community. We raise money for different charities throughout town. And there's so many of them, you don't even know where to begin to start, but all the way from infants all the way up to the elderly, we're all about helping them.
Yeah. And that's something, as a younger person who, before I got plugged into the riding community, you would see a big group of motorcycle riders going down the street, and you'd be going, oh my gosh, there's a motorcycle gang going down the street. And, in my teens and probably even early 20s, before I really was more plugged in, I didn't really understand that 9 times out of 10 or more, when you see a big group of motorcycle riders, going somewhere, that is almost 100% always where somebody's trying to raise some money or do some fundraising or riding for somebody who's been injured or some very, very good charitable cause. Do you find that to be the case?
You're absolutely correct. 9 out of 10 times, that's what it's going to be, is they're out there doing fundraising, or they're actually doing military escort, because we have a very large Patriot Guard Riders group in this area, and they do a lot of funerals in this area, and they do it all volunteer. All of the expenses are on them. So, you see a big group of them with that. It can be that. It could be fundraisers. That's just our nature.
Yeah.
We're stronger in packs.
It's just a message out there for our non-riding brothers and sisters who, I've seen some people when I've been in big rides like that, I've seen some cars over on the side kind of frowning at us and upset that they've had to stop for a second. Just for our non-riding brothers and sisters out there to know that, when that's happening, probably every single one of those motorcyclists has paid a fee or a donation to be in that ride, and all that money is going to go to a good cause. And so I just always urge people who are waiting at a red light for a minute or two extra for us to go through the lights, that's usually benefiting somebody greatly that's usually in pretty great need of some help.
And you're right there, Chris, and touching on that, we have a lot of benefit rides in this area, a lot of charities that we support. And what people don't understand, the average cost for a person to go and participate in this is somewhere between $10 and $20. Well, once they get there, they also have the raffles and the 50/50s and all this other stuff that's going. So it's not uncommon for the average biker to drop $40 or $50 a weekend for an event. And you do that 3 or 4 times a week, that it turns out to be a lot of money, but we do it because we want to, number one. Number two, we believe in the charity that we're out there supporting. And I just wish more people would understand that that's what we're there for.
Yeah, well, that's one of the things that I hope to accomplish with this podcast. It's just so maybe people who are not as familiar with riding culture understand that this is one of the most accepting, most welcoming groups of people that you would ever want to meet. You know, somebody might have a black T-shirt and a black vest and a long beard or ponytail, and they're just a big old teddy bear who would give you the shirt off the back. And I've almost never gone anywhere that I haven't been welcomed, and I know that I'm probably a little bit nerdier than a lot of folks, and I know that don't present like a lot of riders do, but I've never gone anywhere where anybody has not been anything less than just open-armed and welcoming and very friendly. And so that, something that I hope that we can accomplish with this podcast.
And you know what? You don't have to belong to a club. You don't have to wear black and be big and bulky, because it takes all kinds to make this world go around. And in the biker community, we have all walks of them. We have doctors, attorneys, just like yourself, that come in our store. We have them all that come in. It doesn't matter what you perceive yourself or somebody else perceives. What matters is that you're getting the wind in your face and doing something that you enjoy and relaxing, because it is very relaxing.
It sure is. Well, so you mentioned it. I do want to give a shout out to Eagles Talon, because you, Martha, the owner of Eagles Talon, give so much back to the community through your business. So tell us a little bit about Eagles Talon and what's up over your way on Helicopter Road.
Well, we started this business 15 years ago. As I have told in my story and the website, my first husband and I, we wanted to do this when he turned 55 and retired because he was a federal firefighter. He died in 96, and when he would have turned 55, I went to BJ, my daughter, and asked her, I said, look, this is what your mom and dad wanted to do when he retired, but he's not here. Do you want to do it? Absolutely. We jumped off in it, really not knowing too much about what we were going to do, because he was the mindset behind it, okay?
Right.
But, it was just something that we wanted to do, and I fell in love with it. And, they say if you're doing something that you love, it's not a job. So I don't consider it a job, because I really do enjoy what I'm doing. We've been doing custom embroidery for 26 years now. I can say it now because I can't go to jail, I don't think, anyway. But BJ's been doing embroidery since she was 13 years old, and she's 40 now. So she's been doing all of our patches and stuff that we do. And I run the store, and, it's just a good combination for us, and it works. It's great.
Tell us what's your address for Eagles Talon?
2323 Copter Road in Pensacola.
Yep. Is it correct to say that y'all are a couple of miles north of West Florida Hospital?
That is correct.
Yeah. And so I know that y'all do custom embroidery, and tell us a little bit about what else y'all sell up there so people can come find you.
We sell all kinds of motorcycle leather parts, accessories that you want. We do have a pretty good selection in the store. Of course, we can't stock everything, but we do place orders every day. Doesn't matter, because my philosophy on it is, if a customer comes in and they took the time to come to my store to look, if I don't have it and I can order it for them, I'm going to order it that day no matter what. I don't wait and order just once a week. But we have a great selection of leather vests, leather jackets, chaps, gloves, and we have oils and stuff to change your fluids on your bike. We got all kinds of little knick-knack stuff around, and we got a wall of patches over there that we add every time. And I will forewarn you, though, if you come in the store and you say something stupid, it's probably going to be on a patch next week hanging on the wall. So
that's perfect. And I know y'all do great work because I've seen it before. And tell us about y'all's bike night. I know you do bike night. Tell us about that.
We do bike night. We do it on the first Thursday of the month. You come out, we start around 6:00. Everything is free. You don't have to buy a thing. You just have to come out because this is our way to give back to the community. I cook something for everybody that night and provide beverages for people. Got music going on. Who knows? We try to get a few games going here and there, but sometimes those hardcores don't want their image spoiled by doing the games, but we do, and we have a great time, great turnout, and it isn't, and we try to fix something that is pretty simple for everybody. So yeah, it works out great for us.
As it usually does, the time has absolutely flown by, and we're getting close, but I don't want to get out of here without talking about A.B.A.T.E, because that's something that I know is near and dear to your heart, and it is to mine too. The purpose behind the organization is really wonderful. Can you tell us a little bit about your involvement in A.B.A.T.E and just what A.B.A.T.E is for everybody out there that doesn't know?
A.B.A.T.E is a motorcycle rights organization here in Florida. I am the Gulf Coast chapter president, which up until last week, we covered from the Florida line all the way to Tallahassee. Well, now we have new chapters in the Fort Walton Beach area, the Panama City area, and I am working with someone over in Tallahassee to try to get a chapter over there. What we do is we fight for motorcyclist rights, and I don't mean fist fights. We go to Tallahassee and we have lobbyists that go over there and fight for things that make us more safe, okay? And we also really, really promote the safety and awareness of motorcycles, because a lot of people don't really know, since we don't have driver's education throughout the state like we used to. It's we have a video presentation, we have a PowerPoint presentation that we will come to your facility. It usually takes 30 to 45 minutes that we can come to your facility, and we can educate people on what to look for and why we do things that we do. All they have to do is just reach out to me. They can reach us through Facebook at A.B.A.T.E Florida Inc. / Gulf Coast chapter. They can come by the store. They can call me at the store, or send me an email. It's 850abate@gmail.com, and we'll get something set up and come out. This is all free. We're here to educate. We don't charge a dime for anything. We're all volunteers, and we're just here to support and try to make everybody safe, not just motorcyclists, but everybody on the roadways.
Yeah, A.B.A.T.E is a fantastic organization, and the concept of having an organization that lobbies for motorcyclist safety and motorcycle rights is just amazing. And I cannot say, I mean this from the heart, genuinely what you do for motorcyclists and the motorcycle community in our area and throughout the state is really amazing. And somebody needs to tell you thank you every day, because you're one of the hardest working people I know.
Chris, I do it because I love it. I'm about promoting motorcycle safety and keeping people safe. I will say, I want to add this too also. To join A.B.A.T.E, it's only $20 a year. With that $20 a year, you get a $4,000 accidental death and dismemberment policy. And it's really heartbreaking when you see people that you try to encourage to pay this $20 and they don't want to do it, and the next thing you know, they're having to have a benefit in order to pay for their funeral expenses. Everybody's worth $20. Everybody's
Yep.
worth a whole lot more than that, but just a simple $20 a year, not everybody has life insurance, and it would help in the event that something happens. It doesn't have to be on a motorcycle. It can be falling out of a tree, could be anything as long as it's an accidental death. So, we want to try to encourage everybody to be a part of it. You don't have to ride a motorcycle. you just got to appreciate us, okay? And if you know somebody that rides, it's worth it. And, you know, Chris, I can't thank you enough for everything that you do in the motorcycle community, because I know that you put a lot of time and effort into this, and it's not always about the cases. It's about promoting the safety, and that's what means a lot to me personally. And I tell people all the time that, you know, Chris is about helping us stay safe. And I do appreciate you and your staff. Your staff is great.
Oh, thank you so much. Well, it really is about the people who I have really grown to care for, and just I'm really grateful. And golly, we are running out of time, Martha. I'm going to have to get you back so we can talk about some more stuff. So we'll maybe plan another time to come back and talk about, because I've got like about 100 other things I wanted to ask you, but we're running out of time. So Martha Harris,
we'll do it again.
With Eagles Talon up on Copter Road, not Helicopter Road, as I said before. Right. And I can only hold so much in my head at a time. Martha, thank you so much for joining us.
Thank you.
This is Chris Klotz with Motorcycle Hang Time. Martha Harris, thank you again for being here. Martha, we'll catch you next time.
Thanks for hanging out with us on Motorcycle Hang Time with Chris Klotz. Go to StevensonKlotz.com to get more information about motorcycle safety issues and motorcycle law. Please leave us a rating and a review whenever you listen to your podcast. We invite you to spend time with us on our next episode.